I don't know if you can hear the birds. They're loud. Their voice is strong under the canopy of the trees. I love it. This is what I needed. This is why I came back to this part of our country. This is where I grew up, hearing that. It's the sound of home. Even before I got deep into scripture, I had this strong sense that this system was intentionally made to be like a vice. This was back when I was very much into the Constitution, constitutional rights, and individual sovereignty, and things like that. Was in the General's Army, the private militia, who he turned out to be one of the leaders of the Oath Keepers up in Montana. So I was very much into it. Corresponded with Claire Wolfe, it's time to shoot the bastard jet. That's the title of her book. But I understood it's like a vice intentionally made to find out how much are you willing to take, how far are you willing to go before you break out. Like, I cannot be less free. And now I'm listening to a reading of 2nd Baruch, and all the books that are banned that used to be a part of the Hebrew canon, the law according to the Israelites, part of the Torah, all the books removed from there have to do with the last days. And Baruch is one with Yahweh, and he's commanding Lilith to come forth to awaken, the dragons to awaken. The earth is being spoken to. Like, how many people just feel such a connection to the earth and want to nurture it? And, we are husbandmen. We have animal husbandry, land husbandry, because our life is dependent on it. Our flesh is one. The health of the earth is reflected in our health and vice versa. So scripture even says, if you want to understand God, look to the earth, look to the surroundings. And so this is not typical Christian patriarchal mindset that Yahweh would be in communication, co-working, co-creating with the earth herself to hold back her fruit from Jerusalem. Jerusalem meant it was the teacher of peace, the teacher of awe, of shalom. Because shalom doesn't mean peace. It means to be, the way to peace is right relationship with your creator, right relationship with yourself, right relationship with the earth, right relationship with resources, right relationship within the community, with your neighbors. It's right relationship. And to be a place where anybody throughout the world can come and be in awe of the peace that is brought by right relationship with everything. And so the disbursement of the Israelites throughout the nations specifically is said not just to punish them, but so that they would be good to the people of the nations. They're dependent on them now. Like, they can't close themselves off, and so they have to learn how to navigate relationship with these other people. They have to be good to them. They have to earn their respect, or they're getting nowhere in their community. They're kicked off the side of the road, homeless, bye, don't care. So they have to learn to be good to these people. And so not everything is what it seems. Evil is just something we're uncomfortable with. Like, I could say that it's evil that it's raining out. Oh, God, why did you send this evil to me when I'm moving all my things and they're stuck out in the rain? You know what I mean? And so that is why Jehovah says, I am the creator of evil and of good. So some evil is good. Some things that we're uncomfortable with, like, you know, God, why did you send this evil to me? This person is mocking me. Well, they're revealing what's in your subconscious. Like this one guy, I was walking by his window. I was leaving his house. We had all been out back partying, and he was getting in the shower, and there was a window in the shower of his trailer. And I'm walking by, and I hear out the window, oh, just like me, like mocking me. And I'm like, that's true. I'm a people pleaser. I just want people to like me. Not for my own selfish reasons, other than it makes me uncomfortable when the things that they don't like about me, they condemn themselves. So they fall into judgment. Because, like, I'm homeschooling my daughter. This other mother hears of it. You know, she asks, oh, we haven't seen your daughter in school. Why? Oh, I started homeschooling her. Some kid was bullying her, and instead of disciplining that kid, they said she could just stand by the teacher during the whole recess, because the teachers didn't want to take their time off, their lunch time off, which is recess for the kids, while he does laps around the gym to get his energy out. So we're just going to let him do his thing on the playground, and any kid who wants to be safe can stand by the teacher. I'm like, my kid can't play because this other kid's not getting his emotional needs met. So my daughter's actually being punished. She's not a threat to these other kids, but this kid is. So I took her out of school, and this mother heard that, and you could just see it go across her face, like, oh, that's a good thing. Oh, wait, I'm not looking out for my child like that. That would mean I'm a bad parent. I can't have that. She made a poor decision. I'm making the right decision. You could just, and she never talked to me again. So that sort of thing is what I was trying to avoid. And I didn't want people making me angry, upsetting me, condemning them. Because when I was very young, this boy who would bully me like every day on the school bus, finally one day he threw a pencil and it hit me right between the eyes, and I jumped up and I wish you were dead. And he got killed running across the road chasing a ball. He got hit by a car. That leaves a very strong impression on a little girl. Grade school. This happens. You wish him dead, he dies violently. Oh. So a lot of times this evil that comes upon us is to reveal something of ourselves. It said, you know, if you really, I had one old lady, she would say, you don't know anybody until you see them mad. So until I see you mad, I am not going to know whether or not I should trust you. Like, I get mad, I cry. Like, I was such a bitter disappointment to her. She's like, normally I cannot stand quiet people, but I like you. But you don't know what people are truly like until they don't get their way. And so I had to learn that, you know. And evil came upon me. Something I was uncomfortable with, something I didn't want, something I didn't like. And, you know, just the way I responded, I'm like, Ooh, look at me being all, oh, it's not my way, angry. So I'm just sitting here, and there's like this deep sadness. There's a lot of emotional energy moving over the awareness that they're poisoning our food at God's command. Which we're told when the covenant is renewed through Yahusha, that we don't have to fear poison. We don't have to fear snake bites. We don't have... And I've seen that in my life. I've seen snakes move out of the way, poisonous snakes. Stay curled up in the sun, not even budge. And I just get down and I look at them in amazement, And a dog leaping, somebody's got this vicious killer dog and it gets loose one day. And I think it's the cat that I normally say hi to at night, because all I see is the two eyes coming out of the woods there. And I'm like, oh, hey, kitty, kitty. And then it's this big dog comes in, and it disappeared. Like it just got sucked into some other reality or something. So I know that any evil that comes upon me is discipline. And this is not something that you can say to the world, that all this because you're not good people, because you're not turning to God. Oh, they don't want to hear that. That's bad. That's really bad. But I had to come to terms with, it was because I was disobedient, because I didn't seek to be in alignment and fulfill the covenant to the fullest extent that I could. And I could say it could have been given to me not to. Because one day I decided that, I had this judgment against God, that He's the reason why all abuse exists to begin with, because of His example. Yeah, I thought that. I did. So, it's just a soft acceptance. People talk about just, the power of acceptance. Can we accept that all the bad, all the evil, all the suffering is commanded to happen to us by our Creator, so that we finally break out of that vice? And it's funny because every other time I've attempted to come into alignment with God's will, it was always because I want knowledge, because I want understanding, because I want, just the emotional fulfillment, the feeling safe, the, feeling innocent, feeling nurtured, feeling protected. It's all about feeling. And then finally, this time, when it was finally revealed to me how to fulfill this covenant, was because I was watching a video by an animist, because animism, I believe that the trees have spirits, that the earth herself has a spirit, that everything is made of spirit, so it is spirit, and so it has a level of consciousness to it. Just to what degree we work with it is, what differentiates us as far as being in fulfillment of covenant and not. So the animist was pointing out how the cycles that, in certain ages were under the influence of certain deities. And so, like, one age would be Zeus, and he would be going by some other name in the next cycle. And then it would be a female one, and then, there's always a dominant deity, and it rotates. Kind of like, the movies, the underworld, the vampires, how the founding vampires, the first ones, they all take turns. They'll go to sleep, one will be awake, and then they'll go to sleep, and they'll use somebody's blood, their blood, to awaken the next one in line, so that they know through the blood, like, everything that's happening. So it's like that. I'm not saying they're all vampires. I'm just saying, he's reflecting, so what do you think the deity is, that it's their age now that we're under? And I'm looking all around me, and the only God that is being fought for, fought about, fought against is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The Muslims, the Christians, the Jews, you've got the New Age movement, but nobody's fighting a war necessarily against, the Hindus. I mean, the Muslims might, but that's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Supposedly in his name, they're doing this. They're eradicating, all these other religions, these pagan religions. So it's just very clear. Well, it's his age. If it's his age, well, then I want to be in alignment with the powers that be, don't I? And that's when the Torah and how to fulfill it became very clear, and the importance of it became very clear when I made the intellectual, common sense, what would make sense decision. After all the other times I was not maintained, my faith was not maintained, I was allowed to drop every other time, until intellectually I made that choice. And that's because I never trusted my intellect before, because it was abused. It was taught to memorize instead of reasoning and maturing and developing on its own. It had to memorize and perceive, show your work, show how you came to that solution. They want to make sure your thinking is right. They don't want intuition coming up with the answer. They don't want you to get that from heaven. They want you to process it out in their way of thinking. So my intellect was abused. Numbers, you give me a series of numbers to remember, like my own phone number is one of the easiest numbers anybody would ever have to remember. It's just, I'm amazed at how easy my phone number should be to remember. But once I say it, it's gone out of my mind. Numbers, because we've been taught that they are unmovable and unchangeable. My brain became allergic to them. So I never trusted my intellect, because when I would use my intellect, the whole world would tell me, no, that's wrong. So that I finally made this decision on that level, that's when I began to be rewarded. It was the one part of me that I was holding back. Pretty darn wild. Because if you go into Christendom and like the born again movement, it is all about emotion. But I never bought into that. As emotionally orientated as I am, like, I'm all about intuition and how do I feel about something. And I could never stand the born again movement. I never even looked into it. They were just so plastic faces, like masks. It just never resonated with me, that's all. So yeah, I'm having a solemn day. It's a very solemn day. I guess that's how it would be described. Like, wow. Alright. And maybe you're having a solemn day today, but you can't explain why. It's because what I learned when I became a conscious channeler is that there are like monthly downloads, uploads wherever Yahweh decides it's going to come from. You got to be in tune with everything. Like your subconscious may be picking up that this is what everybody's coming to understand now that are in on it. The set apart ones, this is, and it could be your subconscious is getting this information and insight, didn't know how to convey it to you because you have not made that connection, formed that relationship yet with the subconscious and conscious mind. And so you've been led here so that you can see, oh, that's what that feeling is. This is solemnness, and it's solemn because it's coming to the realization that our Creator is the creator of both good and evil. And evil was created specifically for this day, for this period of time, so that this could happen. So, shalom with Salam. With Salam in our shalom.